Good evening, all. Last chapter, last topics, last session. So, I'm good, Himanshu. Thank you. Kiran is here, Diksha is here, Bhumika, Himanshu, Manisha, Rajiv, Sudhanshu. Himanshu, I remember that insurance wala point will take up in this session at the relevant time. Darshan, Darshan, I can understand you're a CA student. No limits on time, right? सोने का जागने का कोई टाइम नहीं होता. You are studying day and night, but good evening. Huh? Or you're still in the morning session. हिमांशु, सप्लीमेंट्री ऑडिट होता है. जैसे कोई ऑडिट करवाया गया गवर्नमेंट कंपनी का, राइट? ऑडिटर अपॉइंट करके एज पर कंपनीज एक्ट, as per the report submitted by the auditor, yes, still the CAG is not satisfied with the audit. तो एक और सप्लीमेंट्री मतलब पुराने वाले को सप्लीमेंट करने के लिए एक और ऑडिट कराना, डबल ऑडिट. That is supplementary, to supplement something, supplementary audit, right? टेस्ट ऑडिट वो कभी भी हो सकता है. Like, it's on the wish of the CAG any time of the year, at any point of time. किसी भी पॉइंट को लेके हो सकता है. टेस्ट ऑडिट का, सप्लीमेंट्री ऑडिट का जो स्कोप है वो एक आपके स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट की तरह है. बट जो टेस्ट ऑडिट है वो किसी छोटी से छोटी ट्रांजेक्शन का, कोई डिपार्टमेंट का, किसी बिजनेस का, किसी प्रोजेक्ट का, वट एवर द CAG में लाइक. I hope, Imanshu, I'm clear. Bhumika, propriety is audit of rationality. Okay. Whatever I'm telling you in my layman language, don't write it as it is in exam, right? You have to write what notes I'll be sharing. So basically, auditing the expenses. You want to go shopping, your mom gave you, 1,000 rupees, and she tells you, सोच समझ के खर्च कीजिएगा, समझदारी से खर्च कीजिएगा, वेस्टफुल एक्सपेंडिचर मत कीजिएगा. अगर आप ओवर स्पेंड करेंगे या आप वेस्टफुल एक्सपेंस करेंगे तो शायद हो सकता है आगे से मम्मी के मैं साथ में जाऊं, आपको के लिए शॉपिंग करने नहीं भेजूं. इट इज अ चेक. सो mom is discussing the concept of propriety. Propriety is based, it is a concept related to rationality, wisdom and all. ठीक. तो प्रोप्राइटी ऑडिट के अंदर क्या कवर होता है? जो भी गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स ने एक्सपेंसेस करनी है, एक्सपेंडिचर करनी है, they are being done properly and economically. There is no wasteful expenditure, there is no overspending, and if and also cases of not underspending, compromising with the quality. That is propriety. I hope, Bhumika, I am clear. Any more doubts, people? कुछ भी और डाउट हो तो ठीक, otherwise we'll move to our next, the last one of the last remaining heavy topics, cooperative societies. Bhumika, are you there? Okay, ठीक है Bhumika. What's your comment? Okay. Anybody else with the doubts, or should I move further? आज फाइनली ऑडिट खत्म हो रहा है. Last chapter, last session. अब इसके बाद तो सिर्फ ऑडिट के एग्जाम की तैयारी करनी है, हाँ. चलिए, I suppose there are no more doubts or any queries or anything you want to talk to me about. So let's move ahead with the next topic, that is of cooperative societies. And cooperative, we all know it means, you can see on your screens, cooperative is coop, coop. What does it mean? It is an autonomous autonomous, working on own association. खुद मिलके एक एसोसिएशन बनाई है पर्सन्स ने, यूनाइटेड वॉलंटरली, अपनी मर्जी से, टू मीट देयर कॉमन economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned enterprise. So it is a kind of constitution like proprietorship, partnership, company, LLP. Cooperative societies is an association of persons. एक एग्जांपल दे सकते हो मेरे को? बहुत फेमस कोई कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी हो इंडिया की, पुरानी, a very famous cooperative society business. आप लोग एग्जांपल्स देखता हूँ फिर मैं दूंगा. So cooperative society is a business organization. So it is a mode of doing business with a special mode of doing business by pulling together all the means of production cooperatively, elimination of middlemen, and exploitation from outside forces. Oh wow, good. Darshan, Varsha, very good. Amul, the taste of India. That is an example. And there is this papad making company as well, started by a group of old women in some part of Gujarat as well. That was also, I still don't. I suppose it's a lizard papad, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, yeah, Kiran, thank you. Lizard papad. So, देखिए, by pulling together, हाउस पार्टी करनी है. सपोज आप ग्रुप ऑफ फ्रेंड्स हैं, आपने हाउस पार्टी करनी है, प्लानिंग का हाउस पार्टी. You have two options. You can purchase food and beverages from the market, the party groupers from the market. What will be the consideration? That you are paying in the market, or you will be asking for a party event organizer, that I have to organize this party. We people are planning a party and our group. So you'll either contact an event organizer, or you will like the middleman, or you will purchase the material, the services on your own. So what happens is there could be exploitation. Exploitation not in the exploitation could be overcharging. What is the other side of the coin? Person A says, let us arrange this party at my house. The rent would be saved. Person 2 says, okay. B says, I'll bring the starters. C says, I'll bring the soft drinks. Person D says, okay, I'll take care of the dessert. Person E and F will take care of the main course. And G says, okay, all the arrangements, decoration, I'll do that. And H says, I'll use my photography talent to click all the pictures and videos. So what happened? All these 8 people, what did they do? Instead of procuring the resources from outside, they managed it on their own. Cooperative principle first arose out of need, requirement to, for self-consumption. Then it suddenly started taking the form of a business, and now we have such flourishing business in our countries in the form of cooperative societies. And you have given me example of Amul. So this is what pulling together all the means of production means, which eliminates middlemen and exploitation from outside sources. So mutual assistance and service are the basic objectives. Cooperative societies are also Bhumika, right? I forgot music. Okay. We all have YouTube on our play YouTube, right? Okay, fine. Someone would take up the responsibility of DJ. So cooperative organizations are subject to rules and regulations of the government because it is registered. The Cooperative Societies Act of 1912, it is a central act. Central act means applicable pan-India, contains the fundamental, the basic class. You can see it's more than 100 years old act. 110, 11 you may say. So whenever you will find references to this act during this whole topic or any monetary limits, just take yourself to that era only. And working of the cooperative societies, it is applicable in many states with or without amendments. So states have made it applicable as per amendments, which according to their state organization. In many states, like Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, the cooperative societies are governed by specific state acts. This is just an example, not an exclusive list, right? An auditor of a cooperative society should be familiar with the particular provisions of particular act governing the society under audit. If I get to do an audit of a society, cooperative society registered in Punjab, so I must make myself aware of the provisions of the central act, the cooperative societies 1912, and the specific state act if passed by the state for its cooperative societies registered in under its government. So मुझे सेंट्रल एक्ट भी पता होना चाहिए और मुझे पंजाब के रिलेटेड एक्ट भी पता होना चाहिए उसके क्या स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजंस हैं जो अप्लाई करते हैं कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज. The capital of a cooperative society is raised from its members in the form of share capital. As the share capital is not sufficient to meet its operational cost, it borrows loan from the government or apex cooperative organization. In a cooperative society, each member is given one vote, very important, irrespective of the number of shares held by him. Unlike in companies, voting is equal to number of shares or any different criteria set by the company. But over here, whatever share capital you may own in the cooperative society, it issues share capital. But on the basis of person, on the basis of being a member, you'll be given only one vote. You have only one vote. And this apex cooperative organization means there is this cooperative organization, AMUL. It is supporting other cooperative societies or other cooperative organizations as well under its working. So then it becomes an apex cooperative organization. Okay. So audit of a cooperative society. Audit as per section 17 of the Cooperative Societies Act 1912. The registrar shall audit or cause to be audited by some person authorized by him by general or special order. General order means just a notification, and special order could be like with specific cooperative society or a particular region of the country. Writing in this behalf or the accounts of every registered society once at least in every year. So annual work, anytime at least for once every year. What shall the audit include? The audit shall include examination of overdue debts, if any, and evaluation of the assets and liabilities of the society. So what is overdue debts and how are they examined? We'll cover this in the slides to come. So here registrar is registrar of cooperative societies. We have registrar in companies. We have registrar of firms. So in case of partnership firms, it is a registrar of firms. In the case of LLP and companies, it is the registrar of companies, MCA. And in the case of cooperative societies, it is the registrar of societies. ठीक? The registrar, the collector, or any person authorized by general or special order writing in this behalf by the registrar shall at all times have access to all the books, accounts, whatever rights are given to an auditor, the same. Registrar here means a person appointed to perform the duties of a registrar of cooperative societies under this act. Simple. Role of a chartered accountant. So a chartered accountant has to play a significant role in the development of cooperative organization on scientific lines. It is not necessary that the registrar may appoint a chartered accountant to get the audit conducted. They have their own officers as well. Apart from audit, some other professional services could be rendered by chartered accountants, such as guidance in accounts writing, installation of accounting system, which accounting system is appropriate as per your product or your business, internal audit, management accounting services, taxation. So what is internal audit? Basically day-to-day working and auditing on a consistent, spontaneous basis. Management accounting services are the accounting services basically to give consultancy to the management at different tiers. Okay. So, audit of a cooperative society. Points to be kept in mind with respect to the audit of a cooperative society. You will have to refer statement. It is given very much clearly over there. These are the points: qualification of auditors, appointment of the auditor, how is the auditor appointed, books, accounts, and other records, restrictions on shareholdings, restrictions on loans, investment of funds, contribution to charitable purposes, investment of reserve fund outside the business, contribution to education fund, appropriation of profits. Just give me a sec. I'll open it with you and we'll do it from study method. Okay, here we are. No, Darshan, it is as per the act. It's not because of the limited capital. Okay, everyone, is my is my screen visible to everyone? Okay. So the first point was qualification of auditors. Apart from a chartered accountant within the meaning of the Chartered Accountants Act, some of the state cooperative acts have permitted persons holding a government diploma in the cooperative accounts or in the cooperation and accountancy, and also a person who has served as an auditor in the cooperative department of a government to act as an auditor. So this is what is required to be the auditor of a cooperative society. So chartered accountants are eligible, but some of the state cooperative acts have also permitted persons who have government diploma, government courses in cooperative societies. They have, acquired that diploma, or they have been a person who have been serving under an auditor or as an auditor in the cooperative departments of a government. Government has its own cooperative departments like cooperative banks nationalized by the government. So qualification of auditors. Second is appointment of auditors. Someone was asking me about it. An auditor of a cooperative society is appointed by the registrar of cooperative societies. अब ध्यान रखिएगा, यहाँ पे गलती मत कीजिएगा, रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ फर्म्स या कंपनीज मत लिखिएगा. And the auditor so appointed conducts the audit on behalf of the registrar and submits his report to him as also to the society. तो वो अपनी रिपोर्ट रजिस्ट्रार को भी सबमिट करते हैं और सोसाइटी की बॉडी को भी, गवर्निंग बॉडी को भी. The audit fees are paid by the society on the basis of statutory scale of fees prescribed by the registrar according to the category of society audited. See, societies are accorded categories on the basis of their capital, on the basis of their business and turnover. And the registrar comes up with a statutory fee scale, or you can see a slab, like you have your income tax slab. So it comes up with a fee slab, and audit fees is paid by the cooperative society from the funds of the cooperative society on the instructions of the registrar. Yes, Darshan, yes. Books, accounts, and other records of cooperative societies. Under Section 43, Clause H of the Central Act. Central Act here is Cooperative Societies Act of 1912. A state government can frame rules prescribing the books and accounts to be kept by the cooperative society. So here, the Central Act has delegated it to the state government, and state government prescribes it by passing its own act. For example, it gives us an example of Maharashtra. For example, in Maharashtra, the cooperative societies are required to maintain books of account in terms of the instructions of the registrar as following. What are the books of account, or what transactions they have to make? All sums of money received and expended by the society and the matters in respect of which receipts and expenditure take place. So, आपके पास जितना रुपया आया, आपने कितना खर्च किया, और कहां पर आपने खर्च किया, कहां से वो रुपया आया. What money have you received? What are its sources? What money have you expended, and or for what purpose have you expended? So these are the details every cooperative society has to maintain. Like Maharashtra's Cooperative Societies Act says, all sales and purchases of goods by the society, if it is dealing in goods, obviously state sale and purchase of stock, assets and liabilities of the society. So normal जो भी हम पढ़ते आ रहे हैं अभी तक किसी बिजनेस के लिए, एवरीथिंग, सेल्स परचेज इज योर ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट, रिसीट एक्सपेंडिचर इज योर प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट, एसेट लायबिलिटीज इज योर बैलेंस शीट. तो बेसिकली इन दिस मैनर इट सेज आपका ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट मेंटेन होना चाहिए, बैलेंस शीट होनी चाहिए, आपका प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस होना चाहिए, और उनको सब्सटेंशिएट करते आपकी बुक्स होनी चाहिए. ठीक. In order to maintain proper financial accounting records so as to disclose full financial results of working of the society, the statutory or mandatory provisions provide a directive, but they are non-conclusive. Directive means they just give you a direction. They are not conclusive, or whatever it has said, you have to maintain that only. Only those books, only those expenses, and only those vouchers. No. It is just leading you to a direction that इस तरह से आपको मेंटेन करना है, इन सब चीजों को आपको ध्यान में रखना है. बट ये खत्म नहीं कर रहा है, ये बोल रहा है और भी जो रिक्वायर्ड है वो आपको मेंटेन करना है, बुक्स एंड ऑल, राइट. The society is at liberty to maintain such additional records according to its convenience and which it thinks more useful for clarity and direct explanation. Ultimately, the financial transaction and the results thereof must be presented very clearly and in the most possible manner. तो कुछ बुक्स बताई हुई है महाराष्ट्र एक्ट के अंदर जो आपको रखनी है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, डेली कैश सेल समरी रजिस्टर, a register of collection from debtors if credit sales are allowed by bylaws of the society, a register of recovery of loans from salaries and directly by receipts from members in case of a credit, if it is a credit society which gives loans to its members. इकट्ठा किया आपने पैसा सबका और किसी मेंबर को रिक्वायर्ड है तो उसको लोन दिया इंटरेस्ट के बेसिस पे, या किसी एम्प्लॉय को जो आपके पास काम कर रहा है तो उसकी सैलरीज में से आप कट कर रहे हैं उसकी इंस्टॉलमेंट, या मेंबर आपके पास डायरेक्टली रीपेमेंट कर रहे हैं तो उसका रजिस्टर आपको रखना है. लोन डिसबर्समेंट रजिस्टर इन केस ऑफ क्रेडिट सोसाइटी, किसको कितना लोन कब दिया उसकी सारी डिटेल्स इस लोन डिसबर्समेंट रजिस्टर में. एनी अदर कॉलमनर सब्सिडरीज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द नेचर एंड फंक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी. सो एक रजिस्टर के अंदर या और अलग से आप रजिस्टर किसी भी सब्सिडरी नेचर का आप मेंटेन कर सकते हैं. Now coming to restriction on share holdings, जो आपका share capital आप cooperative society में hold कर रहे हैं. According to section 5 of the Central Act, in the case of a society where the liability of the member of the society is limited, no member of a society other than the registered society can hold such portion of the share capital of a society as would exceed a maximum of 20% of the total number of shares, or the value of shareholding is 1000. So see, 1000 here 1912, 1000 रुपए की बहुत वैल्यू थी उस टाइम पे, बहुत बहुत. Like, so वो बोल रहे हैं that अगर तो आप एक सोसाइटी के मेंबर हैं जिसकी लिमिटेड है लाइबिलिटी, लाइबिलिटी ऑफ अ मेंबर ऑफ द सोसाइटी इज लिमिटेड, और रजिस्टर्ड सोसाइटी नहीं है, तो आप शेयर कैपिटल का मैक्सिमम से मैक्सिमम 20% ऑफ द टोटल नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. या आपकी शेयर्स की वैल्यू जब 1000 तक पहुंच जाए वो, तो आपकी या तो नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स 20% टोटल नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स पहुंच जाए, या शेयर होल्डिंग की वैल्यू आपकी 1000 रुपए तक पहुंचे. इसमें से जो भी पहली लिमिट आप रीच करते हैं उसके बाद आप शेयर होल्डिंग कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी में अपनी नहीं बढ़ा सकते. ठीक है. द ऑडिटर ऑफ अ कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी, फॉर एग्जांपल, द सोसाइटी हैज 100 शेयर्स or 1000 shares, 20% of it is 200. So maximum either you can subscribe to 200 shares if the value is less than 1000. For example, each share is of 10 rupees. So 200 is maximum cap on the number of shares. Maximum cap on shareholding is 1000. 200 multiplied by 10 is 2000. But your maximum cap on the basis of value is rupees 1000. So you cannot hold 200 shares now. You can hold maximum of 100 shares only, because that falls within the cap of rupees 1000. Yes, Darshan, even now, that is why I told you it is an act of 1912. The auditor of a cooperative society will be concerned with this provision so as to watch any breach relating to holding of shares. One should also watch whether any provision in the bylaws of the society is not contrary to this statutory position. The state acts may provide limits as to the shareholding other than provided in the Central Act. इसके अलावा अगर कोई भी और लिमिटेशन स्टेट एक्ट लगाना चाहे तो वो अपने एक्ट में लगा सकते हैं. Now, restriction on loans. Section 29 of the Central Act puts restriction on loan. It states that a registered society shall not make a loan to any person other than a member. So आप थर्ड पार्टी को लोन नहीं दे सकते अपने सोसाइटी के फंड्स में से. You can give loan to a member only. However, with the special, any society, सिर्फ क्रेडिट सोसाइटी नहीं, क्रेडिट सोसाइटी का तो नेचर ही वो है अपना लोन देना, ये किसी भी सोसाइटी के ऊपर एप्लीकेबल. However, with the special sanction of the registrar, a registered society may make a loan to another registered society. So if a registered society wants to help any other society registered duly with the registrar, you can seek permission of the registrar and then give loan to that other registered society. इसके अलावा जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट अपने स्टेट एक्ट के थ्रू और रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगा सकते हैं, like the cap on the limit of loan that you can give, the rate of interest, and whether what interest can be charged, etc. Restriction on borrowings. Now a society wants to borrow. So section 30 of the Central Act further puts restriction on borrowings. According to this section, a registered society shall accept loans and deposits from persons who are not members, subject to the restrictions and limits of the bylaws of the society. So आपकी सोसाइटी बोरो कर सकती है persons who are not members. ये आपको बायलॉ, अपनी सोसाइटी के बायलॉज में जो रूल्स, पॉलिसीज, रेगुलेशंस आपने अपने सोसाइटी के लिए बनाए हैं वर्किंग के लिए, उसमें स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन करना पड़ेगा. Whether society can borrow from outside of its members or from members only in case of funds required. An auditor has to go through all the bylaws of the society. Now, when a society borrows funds or collects funds from its members in the form of membership fee, or in the form of share capital, In that case, sometimes you have surplus funds. So how can these surplus funds or funds lying idle can be invested? This is told by section 32 of the Central Act. In any one or more of the following options, in the central or state cooperative banks. Okay. In any of the securities specified in section 20 of the Indian Trust Act, you have to refer section 20 of the Indian Trust Act. Whatever securities are given in that list, a society can invest its idle funds in that list, in those securities. In the shares, securities, bonds, or debentures of any other society with limited liability. In any cooperative bank other than central or state cooperative bank, as approved by the registrar on specified terms and conditions. So there is no requirement of the approval of the registrar if you are depositing your money or investing your money in central or state cooperative banks. Apart from these, if there are regional rural cooperative banks, uske liye unique registrar's approval is required. On specified terms and conditions, the registrar may approve to deposit your idle funds or invest idle funds with these banks, other than the central or state cooperative banks, or in any other manner as permitted by the central or state government. Appropriation of profits. Section 33 of the Central Act says a prescribed percentage of profits should be transferred to reserve fund, like we make transfer to reserves in the case of companies, before distribution as dividends or bonus to members. If there is share capital, you have to give dividend or bonus to the members. Before giving any kind of benefit to them, you have to transfer what is required out of law to various reserve funds. Yes, Darshan, bylaws are society specific. If the society wants to make a cause of charity for the social purpose, section 34 says a registered society may, with the sanction of the registrar, so prior permission of registrar is required, contribute an amount not exceeding 10% of its net profits remaining after the compulsory transfer to the reserve funds to any charitable purpose as defined in section 2 of this act. So first of all, we need to be clear with the charitable purpose. And charitable purpose, we can see what is included in charitable purpose as per section 2 of Charitable Endowments Act 1890. अभी आपका 35 years पुराना एक्ट हो गया. उसके सेक्शन 2 में चैरिटेबल एंडोमेंट्स में क्या आता है, उस चैरिटेबल काम के लिए आप अपने नेट प्रॉफिट्स का 10% या उससे कम तक, उससे ज्यादा नहीं, आप चैरिटी के लिए कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं. इस तरह की चैरिटी जो सेक्शन 2 ऑफ चैरिटेबल एंडोमेंट एक्ट में मेंशन की गई, सिर्फ वही. और वो नेट प्रॉफिट्स भी वो जो 8 पॉइंट के बाद आ रहे हैं. आपने जो आपको लॉ के अकॉर्डिंग रिक्वायर्ड है स्टैट्यूटरी रिजर्व्स में ट्रांसफर करना, वो ट्रांसफर करने के बाद और डिविडेंड देने से पहले जो प्रॉफिट्स आपके पास बच रहे हैं उसमें से आप ट्रांसफर कर सकते. ओके. Investment of reserve fund outside the business or utilization as working. Some of the state acts provide that the society में use जो आपने reserves बनाए हैं, आप उस फंड को भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं. कुछ स्टेट्स अलाउ करती हैं, पर वो बताती है आप कहां कर सकते हैं. इन द बिजनेस एज वर्किंग कैपिटल एज पर द प्रोविजंस ऑफ एक्ट आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं. देखिए यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट बताई हुई है, कहां पे, पॉइंट नंबर 7 में. इस तरह से इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, राइट. और कुछ पब्लिक पर्पसेस के लिए, लाइक प्रमोट द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, अपनी सोसाइटी के ऑब्जेक्ट्स को प्रमोट करने के लिए, सेल्फ सफिशिएंसी प्रमोट करने के लिए आप यूज कर सकते हैं. इसको रिजर्व फंड को हम वेयर वी कैन यूज इट, वेयर वी कांट, वी हैव टू रेफर द स्पेसिफिक स्टेट एक्ट फॉर दैट एज एन ऑडिटर. द कंट्रीब्यूशन टू एजुकेशन फंड. Some of the state acts provide that every society shall contribute annually towards the education fund of the state federal society at the appropriate rate as per the class of the society. तो सोसाइटी को क्लास दी जाती है उसकी वर्किंग के अकॉर्डिंग, और स्टेट्स ने अपना एक फेडरल एजुकेशन फंड बनाया हुआ है. उसके अंदर सोसाइटीज को कुछ स्टेट्स कहती हैं भी आपको कंपल्सरी कंट्रीब्यूट करना है एजुकेशन फंड, ताकि हम डाउन ट्रोडन को या अनप्रिविलेज को एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड कर सकें. Contribution to education fund is a charge on profits and not an appropriation. So what is the difference between charge on profits and appropriation of profits? Come on, tell me. It says contribution to education fund is a charge on profits and not an appropriation. What is charge and what is appropriation? Right, Darshan, right, Imanshu. Charge is basically where you can claim it as the expense. It could be out of the funds, out of the income, right? That is charge. And appropriation is where it has to be transferred to the reserves, to provisions and all. So charge basically helps us in tax saving, but appropriation is from profits after taxes. You all understand the concept of profit before tax and profit after tax? So charge is always, appropriation is always made from the portion of the profits left after making provision for taxes and whatever is left to be distributed among the shareholders. But charge is a necessity and it is always deducted from the income. Your expenses are charges only. Whatever expenses you deduct from your income to arrive at net profits or surplus, that is charge only. That is a basic difference between charge and appropriation. Right. You people know about it. Good. Chaliye, so that was regarding points regarding audit. Now there are some common points applicable to audit of a cooperative society. All the common points as an auditor which you have been reading till now, they are applicable on the audit of a cooperative society. But there are some specific points as well, which I'll be covering up in the next 5 minutes. The first point, examination of overdue debts. Society has given debts to its members, and these debts are overdue. Their installment or interest is overdue for a period more than 6 months. So overdue debts for a period from 6 months to 5 years. Overdue means due date has lapsed, due date has crossed. Still, limit is not, the installment is not received or repayment is not received. So we have crossed the due date, but still repayment is not received. So from that day, the debt is overdue. And if it is overdue for a period from 6 months to 5 years, and more than 5 years will have to be classified and shall have to be reported by an auditor. So auditor has to get the debts classified till 6 months, 6 months to 5 years, more than 5 years. Because we know if overdue debts are in a large amount, they can lead the society to a financial crunch. Because there is outflow from the society, but inflow is not there. We are just giving out, not receiving it back. And by examining these overdue debts, the trend, the account, as an auditor with a basic professional judgment, we can understand whether there are any signs of recovery or not from that particular member. And accordingly, as per my professional judgment and skepticism, I can classify a particular debt, overdue debt, as good or bad, and will ask the society to make adequate provisions for doubtful debts and bad debts. Now, if there is overdue debt, we have overdue interest as well. Overdue interest should be excluded from interest outstanding and accrued due while calculating profit, because the interest was due. If an interest is due on an accrual basis, we can include it in our income. It might be received in future, but it is due. The due date is still to come. But if the due date has crossed and we have not received our interest on the loan given, that interest is overdue and it might get recovered. We might recover it. We might not be able to recover it. So it's better not to take it as an income, and it should be excluded from the interest outstanding and accrued while calculating profit. Overdue interest is basically the interest portion on overdue principal. So what do we do in practical? An overdue interest reserve is created and the credit of overdue interest credited to accounts is reduced. So whatever interest you have credited to your profit and loss account to the interest account, it is an income, it is credited. Now you have to reverse that entry. You will debit it from there and credit the overdue interest reserve. As an auditor, I'll check how huge is the overdue interest reserve. Since what time it is there in the books. Is it increasing or is it decreasing? Or it is at the same amount since many years. So with overdue bad debts, there would be overdue debts, there would be overdue interest as well. Now, certification of bad debts. A peculiar feature regarding the writing off of the bad debts as per Maharashtra state cooperative rules is very interesting to note. So as per this act, what does it say? Maharashtra में क्या होता है? Example दे रहे हैं वो आपको. Bad debts can be written off only when they are certified as bad by the auditor. Society management responsibility, the preparation of financial statements is the responsibility of the management. We have read. They are the ones who have to write off the bad debts. We can just comment our give our opinion only. But here Maharashtra's act says you can write off any bad debt from the books if only certified as bad by the auditor. Bad debts and irrecoverable losses before being written off against bad debts fund, reserve fund, should be certified as bad debts or irrecoverable losses by the auditor. Where no such requirement exists, the managing committee of the society must authorize the write-off. So in case of Maharashtra, there could be other states as well, जो अपने एक्ट्स के थ्रू यही करने को बोलते हैं. महाराष्ट्र बोलता है ऑडिटर बोलेगा तो राइट ऑफ कर सकते हैं, वरना आप राइट ऑफ नहीं करेंगे. किसी और स्टेट में जहां ये कंडीशन नहीं है, ऑडिटर को नहीं ये बोला गया अभी आप सर्टिफाई करेंगे तो बैड डेट होगा, वहां पे मैनेजमेंट कमेटी ऑफ द सोसाइटी किसी अपने आप राइट ऑफ कर सकती है अपने बुक्स में. वैल्यूएशन ऑफ एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज. So quite common. I'm skipping this point because we have done it in chapter 9. Valuation of assets and liabilities, like general principles of accounting and standards you have to use. Cost, provision for depreciation, installation expenses to be added at cost or market price. The same principles which we have been reading till now. Next is adherence to cooperative principles. So the auditor has to check. Cooperative society is based upon cooperative principles. So there is no corruption involved. There are no middlemen involved. There is no, hoarding, black marketing, or illegal trade practices involved. If the cooperative societies are set up on the principles of cooperation, so the essence, the soul of cooperation is still there. It has not been swept away. Okay. Basically, you have to follow the principles of propriety. Audit should be followed for this purpose. We have to check how rational are they in making the expenses out of the income they are generating. Observation of the provision. This is what an auditor has to check. Observation of the provisions of the Act and rules, the Central Act, the State Act, and the rules made by the state. So all the such provisions are being complied with by the society, and further the bylaws of the society which the society has set for itself, the policies, rules, procedures which it has set for itself, its members, its working bylaws as well. The auditor has to read them, go through them, and check if there is nothing contrary in operation to the bylaws. Verification of members' register and examination of their passbooks, just to check that what kind of loan has been given to them, is repayment being received properly, what is the loan balance standing against their name in the books of the society, and there is no manipulation or window dressing. Special report to the registrar. Now, during the course of audit, if the auditor notices that there are some serious irregularities in the working of the society, he may report these special matters to the registrar, drawing his specific attention to the points. The registrar, on receipt of such a special report, may take necessary action against the society. For example, during the audit, the auditor finds some serious irregularities. He has to bring it to the notice of the registrar. Like you have read in the chapter of frauds, company audit, 2 crore bank audit, 2 crore fraud, less than 2 crore, bring it to the knowledge of the governing body. More than 2 crore, bring it to the knowledge of the central government. In the same way, if auditor has found something seriously irregular, he or she has the duty to bring this to the knowledge of the registrar, and the registrar will take appropriate action against the society. So there are some cases which are of serious nature, serious irregularities. They have given us an example. Let us read those examples. For example, personal profiteering by members of managing committee in transaction of the society. Obviously, it is against the principles of cooperation. If there is personal profiteering against the group, the association, there should not be personal profiteering. कोई भी इंसान अपने फायदे के लिए काम कर रहा है ग्रुप के फायदे के कॉस्ट पे या एसोसिएशन के फायदे के कॉस्ट पे तो गलत होगा. Detection of fraud related to expenses, purchases, property and stores of the society. Specific examples of mismanagement. There is mismanagement in the society. The operations are not being handled really well. Decisions of management are against cooperative principles. In the case of urban cooperative banks, the disproportionate advances to vested interest groups, such as relatives of management, and deliberate negligence about the recovery thereof. There is, willful negligence. Huge amounts of loan are being advanced to the relatives of the governing body's members. And whether we are getting it back or not, right? Whether we are getting it back or not, this is not being seen. Further, audit classification of the society. After a judgment of an overall performance of the society, the auditor has to award a class to the society. So the auditor judges the overall performance of the society, the books, the operations, the controls, the management. The auditor awards a class to the society. This judgment is to be based on the criteria specified by the registrar. Registrar gives the auditor the criteria on what basis you have to give points and then award a class to the society. So sometimes the management is not satisfied with the class awarded to it by the auditor. It may make an appeal to the registrar, and the registrar may direct to review the audit classification by the same auditor or another person. So therefore, it is quite required of the auditor. He has to be very careful while awarding a class to the society. Discussion of draft audit report with managing committee. On conclusion of the audit, the auditor should ask the secretary of the society to convene the managing committee and discuss the report, draft audit report, not the final, the draft with the managing committee. The auditor should never finalize the report without discussing with the managing committee, because minor irregularities may got settled and rectified. It is, and might not become a part of the final audit report. So these are some specific points related to audit of cooperative society. Here, special features of a cooperative audit. Now moving ahead, audit report. So auditor, what the auditor has to state in his report? Quite simple. Whether he has obtained all necessary information, explanation, his opinion is to the best of his information as per the explanation given to him. Profit and loss gives a true and fair view of the profit and loss. Balance sheet gives a true and fair view of the state of affairs. Proper books of accounts have been kept as required by the act or not. Balance sheet and profit and loss as examined by him are in agreement with the books checked by him. So books of account and balance sheet and profit and loss should not differ with each other. And if there is any qualification the auditor wants to give, the auditor can give in his audit report. On completion of the audit, the auditor has to submit his audit report to the society and to the respective authorities such as district special auditor, district deputy registrar. These are some authorities in different states. Audit report submitted is scrutinized by the registrar. Form of audit report is prescribed by the various state acts in various states and contains many matters on which the auditor has to comment upon. For example, the rules formed under the Maharashtra State Cooperative Societies Act requires the auditor to make the usual affirmation pertaining to proper maintenance of books of accounts, true and fair nature of financial statements, and etc. So basically, it states that auditor has to make an affirmation in positive that books of accounts are being maintained properly and the financial statements present a true and fair view. Quite normal. It has been, we do it normally, but it has been written in the act as well. So auditor has to attach some schedules to his audit report as well. For example, all transactions which appear to be contrary to the provisions of the act or the rules or bylaws of the society, which auditor has found during the audit that वो act rules या society के bylaws के against है. All sums which ought to have been but not have been brought into account by the society. Sometimes there is an income which should have form a part of the books or an expense. It has not been recorded. Errors of omission. Any material or property belonging to the society which appears to the auditor to be bad or doubtful of recovery, the debts. Any material irregularity or impropriety in expenditure not being done made on rational basis, or in the realization of monies due to the society. Whatever monies people owe, third persons or members owe to the society, are they being collected in a phased manner, in a proper manner or not? Any other matters specified by the registrar in this behalf. Very important, in case of nil report in any of the above matters, the auditor will have to give a nil report. He cannot skip this part. If there is no such observation qualification, the auditor has to write nil report. Further, in addition to the audit certificate in the prescribed form and various schedules stated above, the auditor of a cooperative society in the applicable state has to answer 2 sets of questionnaires. So there is 2 sets of questionnaires known as audit memos. The first set of the audit memo or questionnaire is of general nature and is applicable to all types of societies, such as urban banks, consumer stores, credit societies, etc. Right? So it is applicable to all types of society, any kind of society, general form. General set of audit memo. The second set of questionnaire is specific for a particular type of society. These questionnaires are drafted in detail and serve the practical purpose of audit program. So whatever is the nature of the society, business it is in to, it is society specific. The second set of questions. The first set of audit memo is general, second is society specific. The audit report in a narrative form, narrative means with all explanations and justifications, is also required to be submitted by the auditor, addressed to the chairman of the society. Generally, the narrative audit report, as per convention जो चलता आ रहा है अभी तक, is divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 of the report is very important. It tells about the comparative financial position with respect to previous year, capital structure, solvency position of the society, profitability, auditors' comments on the working of the society, suggestions for future improvements. Part 2, observations of routine nature. So part 1, some specific observations by the auditor, and part 2, observations of routine nature, which have been noticed by the auditor during his audit related to working of the society. Okay, so that is audit report and its form. Multi-state cooperative societies. So what are multi-state cooperative societies? Cooperative societies whose objects are not confined to one state. So एक से ज्यादा स्टेट्स में जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज काम कर रही हैं, so वो सेंट्रल एक्ट को माने, किस स्टेट के एक्ट को माने? So सेंटर में ही उनके लिए एक अलग से एक्ट ला दिया गया, मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज एक्ट 2002, and it applies to multi state cooperative societies, MSCS. इनके ऊपर लगता है ये मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज एक्ट कहता है भी एक मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी को all sums of money expended and received, profit and loss, all sales and purchases of goods, trading account, assets and liabilities, balance sheet. अगर प्रोडक्शन या प्रोसेसिंग का काम कर रहे हैं तो बुक्स रिलेटिंग टू यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ मटेरियल और लेबर और अदर रेलेवेंट आइटम्स ये भी आपको मेंटेन करनी है, अगर आप ट्रेडिंग के अलावा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग या सिर्फ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग या प्रोडक्शन का काम भी कर रहे हैं. तो मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी कहती है दैट आपको ये 4 तरह की बुक्स जरूर मेंटेन करनी है, जरूर. इट इज इंक्लूसिव नॉट एग्जॉस्टिव. इसके अलावा आप जो भी बुक्स चाहे आप मेंटेन कर सकते हैं. यू कैन मेंटेन एनी काइंड ऑफ बुक्स अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, बट दीज हैव टू बी मेंटेन्ड. सो audit of a multi-state cooperative society, quite normal points as applicable to a normal auditor: qualification, appointment, powers and duties, contents of the auditor's report, power of central government to direct special audit in certain cases. We'll take up the 5th point. Power of central government to direct special audit. When can central government direct special audit? Central government, apart from registrar, central government, because it is a multi-state cooperative society, it is operating in different states. So central government comes into action, and what are the circumstances where it can get a special audit conducted of any of the society? Affairs are not being managed in accordance with prudent commercial practices, rational commercial practices. बिजनेस कैसे किया जाना चाहिए, कॉमर्स क्या सिखाती है, उसके हिसाब से बिजनेस नहीं हो रहा है और गवर्नमेंट की नॉलेज में आता है तो गवर्नमेंट स्पेशल ऑडिट डायरेक्ट कर सकती है. मैनेज्ड एज इट वुड कॉज इंजरी टू इंटरेस्ट ऑफ ट्रेड और इंडस्ट्री और बिजनेस. बिजनेस मैनेज तो किया जा रहा है कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी का, बस इस तरीके से किया जा रहा है जो जनरल नेचर ऑफ इंडस्ट्री है, ट्रेड है, उसके अगेंस्ट एंटी कंपेटिटिव हो रहा है. आप मिल्क रिलेटेड प्रोडक्ट्स में डील तो कर रहे हैं, बट आप कुछ एंटी कंपेटिटिव प्रैक्टिसेस में आ रहे हैं या आप इस तरह से बिजनेस को मैनेज कर रहे हैं तो ये ट्रेड या इंडस्ट्री को नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है. गवर्नमेंट स्पेशल ऑडिट लगा दे. फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन इज सच एज इट डेंजर इट्स इंसॉल्वेंसी. बहुत ज्यादा फाइनेंशियल क्रंच है और ऐसी पोजीशन पे आ गए हैं दैट अगर ऑडिट ना करवाया गया, अल्टीमेटली सही टाइम पे सही एक्शन नहीं लिया गया, करेक्टिव एक्शंस नहीं लिए गए, तो it would endanger its solvency आना चाहिए आपको. As would endanger its solvency, it could get insolvent. Darshan depends upon the association of persons text part. Okay. Right. We'll finish this chapter. Rajiv sir wanted to join us. Let me have a word with him. Then I'll let you know. We'll finish this part. Okay, everyone, we are back. There is an announcement which I'll make after the break for you people. Let's finish this part, cooperative societies, and then we'll take a break. Now we have come up to special audit of a multi-state cooperative society under section 77. Section 77 of this act only. Multi-state cooperative societies act, जो भी हमने पीछे किया ये वाला. Okay? Multi-state cooperative societies act of 2002. Okay, central government's order. First thing, the central government may at any time by order direct that a special audit of the multi-state cooperative societies account for such period or periods as specified in the order shall be conducted. So period would be specified in the government's order. Condition of shareholding. However, central government shall order for special audit. So there is a condition, government can intervene to get a special audit done only if the government or state government, either by itself or both jointly, hold 51% or more of the paid up share capital in such multi-state cooperative society. Government, चाहे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट प्लस स्टेट गवर्नमेंट दोनों का मिला के 51% या उससे ज्यादा का पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल वो होल्ड करते हो मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी में, तभी वो ये स्पेशल ऑडिट वाला एक्शन ले सकते हैं, अदरवाइज नहीं. अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ ऑडिटर, इट मे अपॉइंट ईदर अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट और द मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज ऑडिटर हिमसेल्फ, जो किसी पर्टिकुलर स्टेट या एक्ट के अंदर अपॉइंटमेंट की एलिजिबिलिटी है, टू कंडक्ट द स्पेशल ऑडिट. सो already the impaneled auditor who has done the audit of multi-state cooperative society, he or she may be appointed again, or they may appoint a separate chartered accountant, a different individual. The special auditor shall have the same powers and duties in relation to the special audit as the auditor of a multi-state cooperative society has under section 73. Contents of the auditor's report: the special auditor shall, instead of making his report to the members of the multi-state cooperative society, make the report to the central government. Such a report shall include all matters required to be included in the auditor's report as under section 73 and any other matter as directed by the central government. So this section 73 of this act, Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, the portion which I've asked you to read from your study mat, quite simple. The section 73 falls under these provisions of this act: appointment, qualification, everything. So section 73 is normal audit of multi-state cooperative society. Section 77 is special audit. So section 77 says whatever rights, duties, powers are given to an auditor under section 73, the same are available to a special auditor under section 77. Action by the central government: on receipt of report of the special auditor of the central government, may take such action on the report as it considers necessary as per the act. If the central government does not take any action on the report within 4 months from the dates of its receipt, special auditor has sent his report to the central government. Within 4 months of the receipt of this report by the central government, if it wants to take any action, it has to take whatever action it wants to take into the affairs of that particular cooperative society जिसका special audit हुआ है. If it does not take any action within these 4 months, the government shall send to this society either a copy or relevant portion extract from the report with its comments thereon, and will ask this society either to circulate that copy or that portion or extracts which it has sent to the cooperative society to its members, or have it placed in its next general meeting and read over there. So central government 4 months के अंदर रिपोर्ट मिलने के बाद स्पेशल ऑडिट की या तो कोई एक्शन ले, अगर वो एक्शन नहीं लेती है तो आफ्टर द एक्सपायरी ऑफ 4 months the central government has to send a copy of this special audit report of the auditor to the society, or whatever relevant portion the government wants to bring to the knowledge of the multi-state cooperative society, along with the government department's comments. What comments it wants to give on in addition to the auditor's report, along with the auditor's report. And the government will ask the multi-state cooperative society that they should circulate whatever they've sent to them to the members, or they should read it loud in their annual general meeting or whatever the next general meeting of the society. The auditor's report as far as and the central government's comments. Expenses of conducting special audit, they are prescribed by the central government and paid by the multi-state cooperative society. So this was about the special audit of a multi-state cooperative society under section 77. Now section 78. अब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से हटके हम रजिस्ट्रार पर आ गए. सेंट्रल रजिस्ट्रार, इंक्वायरी बाय सेंट्रल रजिस्ट्रार अंडर सेक्शन 78. तो सेक्शन 77 के बाद 78. The central registrar may, on a request from the central registrar, इंक्वायरी कर रहा है into the affairs, into the books of the society. ये इंक्वायरी कब करेगा? जब सेंट्रल रजिस्ट्रार को कोई रिक्वेस्ट भेजेगा, कोई रिक्वेस्ट करेगा. कौन रिक्वेस्ट कर सकता है इंक्वायरी करने के लिए? अ फेडरल कोऑपरेटिव टू विच द मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी इज एफिलिएटेड. एक फेडरल कोऑपरेटिव जिसके साथ एक और कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिसके साथ ये सोसाइटी मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी जुड़ी हुई है, एफिलिएटेड है किसी न किसी तरीके से. अ क्रेडिटर, सोसाइटी का कोई भी क्रेडिटर जिसने सोसाइटी से रुपया लेना है. Not less than 1/3 of members of the board, सोसाइटी का जो गवर्निंग बोर्ड है उसके एटलीस्ट 1/3 ऑफ मेंबर्स मिलकर रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, नॉट लेस देन 1/3। या मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी के जो ऑल मेंबर्स हैं, सो देयर आर मेंबर्स एंड फ्रॉम दोज मेंबर्स गवर्निंग बोर्ड इज फॉर्म्ड। सो गवर्निंग बोर्ड के मेंबर्स रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं तो एटलीस्ट 1/3 मेंबर्स, और अगर टोटल नंबर ऑफ मेंबर्स में से कोई रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता है तो एटलीस्ट 1/5 who are not a part of the, or who could be a part of the governing board as well. So total number of members के basis पे चलेंगे तो एटलीस्ट 1/5 of the total number of members। अगर सिर्फ गवर्निंग बोर्ड के मेंबर्स में से किसी ने रिक्वेस्ट करना तो एटलीस्ट 1/3 ऑफ द मेंबर्स। या क्रेडिटर या कोई फेडरल कोऑपरेटिव जिसके साथ मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी जुड़ी हुई है, इनमें से कोई भी रिक्वेस्ट कर सकता है सेंट्रल रजिस्ट्रार को इंक्वायरी करने के लिए। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सोसाइटी हैज 30 members. Out of that, 9 members are a part of the governing board. So if you don't want to consider whether a member is a member of the governing board or a normal member, they want to make a request to the central register to conduct an inquiry, at least 1/5. 1/5 of 30 is at least 6 or more than 6 members should make this request, whether they are a normal member or a part of the governing board. But if the members in the governing board, the 9 members, out of those members, any member wants to make a request for inquiry from those 9 members, at least 1/3, that is at least 3 members of the governing board, will have to make a request to get this inquiry done by the central registrar. So how is this inquiry conducted? The central registrar may himself hold an inquiry or direct some person authorized by him by order in writing in this behalf to hold an inquiry into the constitution, who all are the members, who are the members of the governing board, working and financial condition of the society. However, before holding such inquiry as received from any of the requesting members, a 15 days notice will be given to the society as an opportunity of being heard before conducting this inquiry. So what are the powers given to the authorized person who conducts this inquiry? Access to all books, accounts at all reasonable times. He may call for a meeting of the society, notwithstanding any bylaw specifying the period of notice of a general meeting. So कब मीटिंग बुलाई जा सकती है? बायलॉज में लिखा हो सोसाइटी की मीटिंग इतने दिनों पे बुलाई जाएगी, 20 डेज का, 21 डेज का, 7 डेज का नोटिस देना जरूरी है। इन सब को साइड पे रखते हुए, इन सबको नॉट विथस्टैंड करते हुए, जो इंक्वायरी ऑफिसर है वो अपने लेवल पे जनरल मीटिंग बुला सकता है, पर उसे कम से कम 7 दिन का नोटिस देना पड़ेगा। एटलीस्ट अ नोटिस ऑफ not less than 7 days at such time and place at the headquarters of the society to consider such matters as may be directed by him. If the society's officers refuse or fail to call such a meeting, he may himself call for such meeting by writing to the members or by mails or whatsoever manner as prescribed. The inquiry officer may summon any person. Summon means call before him, who he believes might have a knowledge of the affairs of the multi-state cooperative society, before him at any place at the headquarters of the society or any branch thereof, and may examine such person on oath. जैसे कोर्ट में ओथ पे विटनेसिंग करवाते हैं, ऐसे उनसे कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं। The person could be a third person, the person could be a member of the society, it could be anyone who the inquiry officer believes could have any knowledge of the affairs of the society. Now, after the inquiry, the central registrar shall, within a period of 3 months from the date of receipt of the inquiry report. So, in the case of special audit, the central government had 4 months. In the case of inquiry, the central registrar has 3 months from the date of receipt of report of the inquiry officer. He will communicate or send this report to the society and discuss upon this report. The central registrar will follow up with the society within 3 months of getting this inquiry conducted. Now we have section 79, inspection of the constitution, working affairs of the multi-state cooperative society. This inspection is under section 79. When same as inquiry, same provisions. How? By general or special order in writing. Same. Opportunity of being heard, same, 15 days. Powers. Now see, inspection is a bit softer mechanism. Inquiry is a strict mechanism. So in this case, the powers are limited. Access to books at reasonable times and all. And every officer or member of a society shall furnish such information with regard to the working of the society as required under inspection. What do we not have over here? What we have had in inquiry? Summoning a person, calling for general meeting of the society. In case of inquiry, that inquiry officer had these powers as well. In the case of inspection, the inspector has powers only to access to books of accounts, stocks, taking them into custody, verifying cash balance, subject to the order of the central registrar, right? And here also, he has the power to call a meeting of the society. So summoning is the only case which is not here. He can call for a meeting of the society in this case as well. Inspection. But what is not there is summoning a person. So the third part, A and B are the same in the case of inspection as well. We don't have the C part only, summoning a person to appear in front of him. That is the difference between inquiry and inspection. Inspection is a bit, you can say, lenient. Inquiry is strict. Again, the inspector would submit his report and the central registrar would communicate this report within a period of 3 months from the date of completion of such inspection to the multi-state cooperative society. So what did we have? We had special audit by the central government. We had inquiry by the central registrar and inspection by the central registrar. Section 77, 78, 79. 3 important points in the case of multi-state cooperative societies. Okay, that finishes our part of multi-state cooperative societies. Let me go through your queries first. Okay, meanwhile, I'll go through your queries. There is a case study based question answers for you on cooperative societies. You just go through that. Meanwhile, I'm looking at your queries. I'm having, okay, right. Here we are. I hope all of you can see this. Is it visible to you people? Is the case study visible to you people? Dugdham Cooperative Society. Can you read this from the screen? Okay, done. So meanwhile, I'm having a look at your queries. Please go through this case study and then we'll do questions based upon this case study. Okay, let us please read it with me. Dugdam Cooperative Society is a multi-state cooperative society registered under the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act of 1912. It is primarily based in Gujarat with its offices in other states as well. It is engaged in the procurement of raw milk for the villagers and processes them in the factories, producing fine quality milk to be supplied through its various outlets in different states. The governing body of the society consists of 12 members, while the total number of members of the society is 40. The secretary to the society, on coming to know about action taken against one of the cooperative societies in the area for irregular functioning, contacts their auditor, C.A. Naveen Luthra, to make them aware of all such kind of actions that can be taken against any society for irregular functioning, as he wants to take every precaution possible for smooth and transparent working of their society. C.A. Luthra tells him about the provisions of special audit as contained in section 77 of Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, as to when it can be ordered, by whom, who can conduct such audit, and whom the audit report is to be submitted to. He also makes the secretary of the society and the governing board of the society aware about the provisions of initiation of an inquiry into the working of the society under section 78 of the Act, and also when and how can an inspection be ordered to look into the working of the society under section 79 of the Act. He also tells them that whatever be the case, they will always be provided with an opportunity of being heard under law. So this was the case study, right? सो एक सोसाइटी है, मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी है, प्राइमरी गुजरात से निकली है और उसके अलग अलग स्टेट्स में आउटलेट्स हैं। गवर्निंग बोर्ड में 12 मेंबर्स हैं, टोटल नंबर ऑफ मेंबर्स 40 हैं। एक सोसाइटी के अंदर उनके एरिया में एक्शन हुआ गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा, तो उन्होंने अपने सीए से उन्होंने एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट से, अब जो उनके ऑडिट कर रहे थे, उनसे हेल्प मांगी, उनसे पूछा भी कहाँ हम गलती कर सकते हैं, कहाँ क्यों हमारे ये एक्शंस होते हैं। तो उन्होंने बताया, सी नवीन ने उनको स्पेशल ऑडिट के बारे में 77 सेक्शन, उनको इंक्वायरी के बारे में सेक्शन 78 एंड इंस्पेक्शन के बारे में सेक्शन 79, और उन्हें ये भी बताया कि कोई भी केस हो आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड, एक लीगल आपके पास वो रेमेडी है, एक आपके पास लीगल राइट है जिसमें आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड दिया जाएगा। चलिए क्वेश्चंस करते हैं एंड यू विल हैव टू गिव मी आंसर्स। In the given case, Dugdam Cooperative Society, apart from maintaining the usual book of accounts, should also maintain books relating to, चलिए बताइए। Factory workman sheet, utilization of material or labor or other relevant items, purchases made from sales and sales made to other states separately, administrative overhead separately. Yes, please. What is your answer in this case? In the given case, the Dugdam Cooperative Society, apart from maintaining usual books of accounts, और उन्हें कौन सी बुक्स मेंटेन करनी है? आंसर्स प्लीज। इट इज अ मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी, और मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी की स्लाइड पे मैंने बताया था 3 बुक्स तो हमने नॉर्मल कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज में पढ़ी थी, एक फोर्थ था जिसमें बताया था अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग या प्रोसेसिंग कंसर्न है तो उनको कॉस्टिंग रिलेटेड रिकॉर्ड्स मेंटेन करने हैं। Okay, your doubts were, Darshan says it is 1 crore. Yes, Darshan, it was a slip of tongue. Initially, it was 2 crores. Now it was amended to 1 crore. So it is 1 crore only. The fraud reporting monetary limit. It is 1 crore only. Darshan, federal cooperative means a cooperative where center and state jointly function, cooperating each other. Central government and state government. That is a federal cooperative. Bhumika, can a cooperative society rotate its auditor? Its auditor depends upon the law governing the auditor's, appointment. Usually they are appointed on an annual basis. So depends upon the registrar or the law governing. Okay, only Guduri gave the right answer. The right answer is B. Utilization of materials or labor or other relevant items. Next question. CA Luthra tells the governing body that body of about the special audit circumstances that can be ordered by the central government in any of the following circumstances he believes to exist, except when. So, किन circumstances में special audit हो सकता है? There is an exception. That exception you have to find out. Answer to question number 2, please. Right answer to question number 1 was B. Answer to question number 2, please. Okay, good, Darshan. Darshan has given the right answer. Why are you people so slow today? Okay, the right answer is D. On a request made by 1/5 of the total members of the society, because all these 3 cases are the case of special audit, and this D part we have read it in the case of inquiry or inspection. It was nowhere in the case of special audit. Special audit reasons were these: A, B, and C. Question number 3. In the case of special audit that can be ordered by the central government, who could be appointed as a special auditor by the central government in the case of special audit? Okay, right, Nehal, Rajiv, Bhumika, good. Answer to question number 3, please. In the case of special audit that can be ordered by the central government, who could be appointed as the special auditor by the central government? A central government minister, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, C. Naveen Luthra or any other auditor as the CG may desire, C. Naveen Luthra only. Good, Darshan. Good. Aisha, good. Bhumika, right answer. So the right answer is C. The auditor of the cooperative society or any other auditor as the central government may desire. Next, the professional fee to be paid to the special auditor shall be paid to him by the central government, Dugdam Cooperative Society as fixed by the central government, Dugdam Cooperative Society as fixed by the central registrar, or the registrar only. Answer to fourth question, please. Answer to third question is C. Answer to fourth question. Okay, Darshan, good. No, Guduri, wrong. It is a case of special audit, not inquiry and inspection. So the right answer is the fee would be paid by the Dugdam Cooperative Society, but it will be prescribed or fixed by the central government because it is the central government which gets the special audit conducted. Fifth question. The special auditor, whosoever is appointed, should submit his report to, very simple. The central auditor should submit his report to central government, registrar of societies, governing board of Dugdam Cooperative Society, members of Dugdam Cooperative Society. Very simple. I suppose it's very simple. Fifth is A, central government. Sixth question. An inquiry may be initiated against the working of Dugdam Cooperative Society on a request made to registrar by at least how many members of the society? Total number of members 40, members of governing board 12. So at least how many members out of the given options should request the central registrar to get an inquiry initiated? Section 78. Sixth question. At least how many members of the given, at least how many members of the society out of the given options should make a request to the central registrar to get the inquiry done? Total number of members 40 and members of governing board 12. So in both the cases, in case of inquiry and inspection, we have read that if it is the case of total number of members, at least 1/4. The number of members is sorry, 1/5. I'm really sorry, 1/5. The number of members is 40. 1/5 is 8. So at least 8 members will have to make a request out of the total members. So 7 eliminated, 2 eliminated, 5 eliminated. Only 9 is there. So the right answer is option number B. Out of the given options, 9 is the right answer. If 8 is not there. Good, Nehal. Guduri, good. Good, Guduri. No, Bhumika Darshan, you are wrong. 7 is less than 8. We have to choose out of the given options. An inspection may be directed into the working of the Dugdam Cooperative Society on a request made to the registrar by any creditor, at least 2 members, at least 5 members, at least 3 members from the governing board. Okay. So 2 members, not possible. 5 members, not possible. We have done in the above question. Members of the governing board are 12. At least one third of the governing board members have to make a request. That comes to 4. 3 is again less than 4. But I know even a creditor of the society can make an application. So my answer would be 7A. Good, good, Komal. 7th is A. Last question. An opportunity of being heard would be given to the society in the cases mentioned above for how many days? Come on, this has to be right. Opportunity of being heard would be given for how many days? In any of the cases above. Inquiry, inspection, opportunity of being heard. 7 days, 15 days, 21 days, 30 days. Good, good, good. No Komal, it's B, 15 days. Darshan, Bhumika, Rajiv, good. The answer is 15 days. Okay, everyone, let's take a break. Right? Let's be here by 7:50. A break of 15 minutes, not 14 minutes only. So we'll be here by 7:50 and we are left with 4 10-minute topics. 4 miscellaneous topics, which are just of 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. We'll finish off this chapter in the next part of our today's session. Okay? Let's take a break for 15 minutes. We'll Okay, people, we are back. Are you guys back? आ गए तुम लोग? Okay, everyone, there is an announcement for you people. Fifteenth, 17th, and 20th of June, special sessions by CA Rajiv Sachdeva sir and CA Ashish Bell sir. How to attempt audit exam, audit subjects revision, MCQs, case studies, everything. These 3 special sessions on these dates. Okay, please make a note of it and be informed about it. You should not miss these sessions, right? Okay, so this was an announcement for you people. It's there in the schedule as well. ओके सो अच्छा, अब मुझे क्लब जाना है। कौन कौन चल रहा है मेरे साथ क्लब? सो दिस इज सिटी क्लब. Okay, Darshan and Bhumika, you are going with me to the club. Fine. Let us do its audit. The Leaning Club. Please bear with my drawing skills with this pen. Okay. Okay. D is Darshan, B is Bhumika, and V is Vipul. So we enter the club and we go to the reception. And at reception, what do we do? I ask Darshan and Bhumika to check the internal controls first, obviously on entry. What next? I'll ask them to check the club's members register. Before that, we'll have a check on the controls. What are we being asked? Entrance fee to the club. Further, we'll check, being the auditors, we'll check the members register for member dues, member names, all everything related to member subscriptions. Usually you take club membership fee in your area, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs per annum. You enjoy the services of the club throughout the year. You can take your guests over there. You can party with friends over there at discounted rates of products and services. Now, Darshan is hungry, and I asked Darshan to visit the food court on the second floor. While Bhumika is hungry to do audit, I asked Bhumika to go and visit the amenities area. Amenities area on the second floor itself, where we have the gym, the pool, the snooker, the games area. Like, so Darshan is over here in the food court, enjoying food. Obviously, I'll pay for it. I'm not that kind of auditor who will enjoy the freebies. Right, Darshan? Will pay for it. I'll pay for on your behalf. So what is Darshan doing? Darshan will check the member dues. Usually the members maintain a book, like a passbook, where plus minus entries are made by the food court staff in their books, right? Member books or member register. When did they come? What did they have? कितना खाना खाया, क्या अमाउंट का बिल था, वो साइन करते हैं और पीरियोडिक बेसिस पे ये ड्यूज क्लियर हो रहे हैं नहीं हो रहे. Okay, the prices of the food stuff being charged by the food court in the club, whether it has been given on lease or club is operating its own canteen. So sitting over there, Darshan is enjoying the food, but Darshan is doing audit as well, as trained by me. Okay, the bar items, bar stock, each and everything, what is charged from the customers, the members, as well as the third parties. Now here is Bhumika. What is Bhumika doing? Bhumika is checking the members' books or registers or accounts over here for the services enjoyed by them. Gym, pool. Has anybody taken a subscription for the gym specifically or the pool specifically? Okay. Fixed asset items, sports items, assertions related to them. Are they being purchased or taken on rent by the club? If there is a hall in the club, is it given to members or third parties for functions? How is the receipts from these renting of halls accounted for? So while Darshan and Bhumika are working over here, moving from the reception, I go to the top story in the management room. And I discuss with them their investments. Investment register is maintained with them of the club funds. Their powers and duties. Who's the secretary? Who's the chairman of the governing board? What powers and duties have they got? How are the treasury operations conducted? Everything. Their future plans and everything. The scope of my work has already been communicated. So I'll discuss it with the management. Yes, very good, Darshan, Bhumika. So this is what I'm going to do in the case of a club, right? So here we are. Special steps involved in such an audit. Entrance fee. So members' applications and counterfoils issued to them. So receipt is kept with you. You issue in counterfoil. Reference to minutes of the managing committee. What should be the entrance fees? When it should be collected? In intervals or in one go? Second, what were we doing at the reception? Member subscriptions with the accountant. The counterfoils of receipt issued to them against subscriptions. Trace receipts for a selected period to the register of members. Reconcile the amount of total subscriptions with the amount collected and outstanding. The number of members, what should have been the subscription fee collected, what is outstanding, if there are any arrears for subscription of the year, if there are any arrears of previous years, if there is any advance received from any member, they have been properly accounted on accrual basis. The scope and the limitations would have been decided beforehand, before starting the audit, Darshan. It is just discussing what we have done, what we are doing, and what was discussed in our scope. Arithmetical accuracy of the register of members, the totals and all. Member dues if there are in arrears. Whether special steps have been taken for the recovery of member dues. And if there is any amount irrecoverable, that has to be mentioned in my audit report. The Darshan is in the food court. He is checking the price of foodstuff being charged from the members, drinks provided to them and their guests. Bhumika is in the amenities area. She is checking the fees which is charged for special services, billiards, tennis, pool to the members or the third parties. The pricing policy of the club. Now, member accounts will check from subsidiary registers maintained what supplies or services have been provided to the members, and whatever amount has been debited to their account has been recovered from them. Darshan will check what margin is the club canteen or food court maintaining in supplying the food stuff or beverages. A normal rate of GP is being earned. Bhumika and Darshan will check the inventory of unsold provisions and stores at the end of the year, and they'll verify it physically as well. Bhumika can check from the register that there are 3 sets of cricket sets available with the club. She'll check them physically. There is a billiards table, tennis rackets, whatever is the stock. They'll get their valuation checked. Inventory register with respect to furniture items, crockery in the food court, sports item, they'll check all the assertions with respect to them. And on the top floor, I'm discussing with the management in the management room, the share scripts, the bonds in respect of investments, their current values for disclosure in final accounts, whether there are arrangements to keep them in safe custody and are satisfactory. And I'll also discuss with them about their management powers, and had there been any occasions where the financial powers of the secretary had to be exceeded, such cases to be confirmed by the managing committee. For example, where the secretary could issue a check of 10,000 rupees only, but there was a case when the chairman and the treasurer were out of the country and the secretary was given the power to issue a check of more than 10,000 rupees to a vendor. Such cases to be confirmed and reported. Right? This is what we had done the case of a club. So entrance fee and subscriptions done at the reception. Subscription and areas in reserve, the first slide done at the reception. This fourth number also, fifth also. First 5 things you can do at the reception. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th at the first floor. 10th and 11th at the second floor. Check. This is how we will do the audit of a club. Keep chapter 9 in mind with you. Charitable institution, we had done. Okay, sorry. We are leaving the club. Darshan, Bhumika, come back. I don't want you guys to stay there in the club anymore. We have completed our audit. Okay, I'm taking you back with me to the office. Chaliye. You have had enough food, Darshan. Hotel. Now, who wants to visit a hotel with me? Virtually. Anyone interested? Okay, Dikshita. Sudarshan. Right? Okay, chali. So Dikshita and Sudarshan, they are going to the hotel for audit of the accounts of a hotel. So this is ABC group of hotels. Okay, Bhumika wants to go to the hotel as well. Okay, so Darshan is not there. Then Dikshita and Aisha, let us audit this hotel. Okay, so Dikshita and Aisha, I've told you, I've explained you what you will have to cover in the audit of a hotel, right? So these 2 girls are going to the hotel to get the audit done, right? They have got made the reservations for them with the hotel because it is an audit of 2 to 3 days. where they'll be auditing all the on the basis of points with respect to hotel, right? So Dikshita and Aisha, these two girls. Okay. So while entering, what would they check? The internal controls. Internal controls would be checked throughout. So सिक्योरिटी चेक हो रहा है, उनसे उनका लगेज लिया जा रहा है, उन्हें वेटिंग एरिया में वेट करने को बोला जा रहा है, देन वो रिसेप्शन पे जाते हैं, अपनी बुकिंग के बारे में पूछते हैं, राइट, द रेट, द बुकिंग, and they'll see some foreigner standing over there paying for their services by way of a credit card or a forex card, and they talk to each other. How are they going to account for these transactions? We will check this in their accounts tomorrow. Let us have some rest for the day. We'll start our audit tomorrow. But as an auditor, you are observing everything. So there is this man, right? The unskilled or the daily labor. You could say the attendant who takes you to your room. So meanwhile, Aisha thinks, what wages would they be getting? Per day basis or on salary, or what would be their number? Would they be they will be covered under the Provident Fund Act or ESI and all? There could be some dummy workers maintained by the hotel just in books to inflate expenses and decrease profits. Aisha is thinking about all this. So they enter the room. Wow, what a room. So they check. What do they check? The furniture, the snacks, menu, toiletries, and they both discuss about how could the hotels deal with their costing. We'll check this. Right? Then next day, they'll move for the breakfast. Downstairs, they are waiting outside the restaurant for their table in the restaurant. And while waiting over there, they are observing the fixed assets maintained by the hotel. In the restaurant, what will be the checking up? Food, cutlery, internal controls, how is the order placed and how is it accounted for. Meanwhile, there is a marriage ceremony going on in the banquet hall. They'll consider how are these accounts, these receipts treated. इनकी receipts कैसे account की जाती हैं. Then after a full day at the audit, in the evening, there are shops, souvenir shops. There are travel desks to book their tickets or tours in the city. And a fleet of cars is maintained by the hotel. So are these cars taken by the hotel on lease or owned by the hotel? Are these travel desks maintained by the hotel themselves or lent or leased to different companies on rent or royalty basis? Are these shops on rent in the hotel, or these spaces have been leased out, or the hotel itself maintains these shops? The parking fee collected, is it collected from the guests, or it is just for the maintenance of cars for tourism purposes? This is all they would be observing in the hotel how is it being working. So let's move internal controls. Pilfering is one of the greatest problems in any hotel. Toiletries, snacks, pilfered amount, छोटी amount में चोरी करना. पकौड़ों वाली एग्जांपल अगर आपको याद हो. It is the responsibility of the management to introduce controls. Guys, just wait for 2 minutes. I think there is this technical glitch. The PPT is not working properly. Just wait for a second. Manish ji? Manish ji, are you there? मनीष जी 2 मिनट की ना ये स्क्रीन ही रख के जा रहा हूँ मैं, मेरे को थोड़ा इसका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का इशू लग रहा है. मैं 2 से 3 मिनट में आ रहा हूँ, ठीक है.
Okay, people, sorry for the technical glitch. Okay, so we were talking about pilfering, basically toiletries and the food stuff or the snacks. Evidence of their success is provided by the preparation of regular or weekly trading accounts for each sales point and a detailed scrutiny of the resulting profit percentages, with any deviations being reported. But if there is pilfering, obviously the profits would go down against the stock. So auditors should check regular trading accounts for the period under review, examine them, and demand explanations for any apparent deviations. If the internal control in hotel is weak, what would you check? CCTV cameras. How are you being escorted to your room? Is anybody going to enter the elevator, or people with special access with their cards, or breaks down? It is a very serious problem for the auditor. Okay. And in the case of pilferage, auditor has to rely to a large extent on the gross margin showed by the account. So basically, he has to rely upon the accounts. If any discrepancy remains unexplained, he'll have to consider qualifying his audit report. He should also check for the taxes collected from occupants on room rents, food, and occupation have been remitted in time to the government. Room sales. So the charge for room sales is normally posted to the guest bills by the receptionist or the front officer. The source of these entries is the guest register. So we should check these receipts with the guest register. Are they corroborating each other? Any difference between the rates charged on the guest bills and standard room rate should be investigated and properly authorized. Manager Dur ka bhai is staying in the hotel and he is being charged 2,000 rupees per night instead of the 5,000 rate. Are there any such cases? Any other such cases? They should be properly investigated and should be seen whether they have been authorized by a proper person or not. In many hotels, the housekeeper prepares a daily report of the rooms which were occupied the previous night and the number of beds kept in each room, the extra mattress. This report tends not to be permanently retained. So this report is not permanently retained, the report prepared by the housekeeper. If you have been staying in a hotel and you could see the housekeeper is going with a sheet, checking the snacks and everything after one day of the room occupancy. The auditor should ensure that the sufficient number of reports are available for him to test both with the guest register within the individual guest bill. So the reports prepared by the housekeeper are not of permanent nature. They are destroyed after some time. So auditors should ask for a good number of reports available so that on test basis, the auditor could check what has been charged to the guest with his individual invoices available with the hotel. Ensure compliance with the provisions of foreign exchange and RBI if receipts are in foreign currency. Ensure application of proper conversion rate by the hotel. Special emphasis to be laid on receipts to credit cards. The auditor should ensure that proper valuation of occupancy in progress at the balance sheet date is made and included in the accounts. So I checked into the hotel on 31st of the night, 31st, and 31st of March, and I checked out on 1st of April. So my occupancy is still in progress as on the balance sheet date, 31st charge midnight. Right? Inventories of the hotel are both readily portable, saleable, particularly food, beverage. So inventory should be tracked through inventory records. Areas where large quantities of inventory are held should be kept logged and the key should be retained by the departmental manager. The key should be released to trusted personnel only. Unauthorized person should not have any entry to those areas. Any movement in and out of these areas where the inventory is kept should be checked with the ledger. Sometimes the hotels use the services of professional valuers to value their inventory, their cutlery. So such valuers report should be referred to in case of valuation of these items in the books. Physical inventory taking should be done, and price calculation test should be carried out. Quite normal. Fixed assets, we know we have done in chapter 9. The basic thing is quasi fixed assets over here, like their silver cutlery. So some hotels keep it on inventory basis, some hotels keep it on fixed asset basis, but whatever is the policy of the hotel, it should be clearly defined and the auditor should know about it. Cost of repairs and minor renovation can be charged against the profits, but if there is any heavy expenditure, expensive alteration, that should be capitalized. You have to check the cash and BRS. Receipts from banquet halls should be properly accounted for. In the kitchen, in the restaurant, the auditor should check a few kitchen order tickets, and they should be checked and matched with the sale receipts. What is a kitchen order ticket? You go to the counter, you ask for a certain item, or the attendant gives you your order. The order is sent from the reception to the kitchen. So that is only a kitchen order ticket. No rate is mentioned on it. Rate is on the invoice which is given to you. So some kitchen order tickets should be matched with the corresponding invoices to check there is no missing KOT or any invoice. They should be there in equal number. That is kitchen order ticket. Casual labor and staff expenses. तो कैजुअल लेबर बहुत होती है, उनकी वेजेस, डमी वर्कर्स तो नहीं है, ये आप चेक कर सकते हैं. सैलरी पेमेंट्स को टेस्ट बेसिस पे चेक करके, अप्लाइंग ARP एंड ऑल एनालिटिकल प्रोसीजर्स on wage payments. So there are travel agents and shops, as I told you, souvenir shops in the hotel. So how are these travel agents, in what tie-up with the hotel? Royalty basis, rental basis, commission basis, that should be checked, and their treatment in the accounts as well. So this is what was there with respect to a hotel. Okay. Cinema hall. We all have went to watch a movie. Imagine you are going to watch a movie. What would you check? The internal controls. Entrance to the cinema hall is through printed tickets. The security guards check it. The people at the entrance, they are serially numbered. So today's era is of e-tickets. So some points we would find like not applicable, like serially numbered and bound into books. And then the number of tickets issued for each show and class are different for the sequential number should be different for each show and each class. Advance booking accounts are maintained separately. Inventories of tickets is kept in the custody of a responsible official, that is with respect to physical tickets. So you have to check the receipts from shows at the end of the show. A statement of tickets sold is prepared, whether online or physical, and cash or online payment collected against it is agreed. If there are any free passes issued to the public for advertisement purposes or to friends and family, a separate record of that should be maintained. Reconcile the amount of entertainment tax collected with the number of shows and the number of people purchased tickets. Vouching the entries in the cash book with the cash collected, and bank with the online payments. Advertisements, very important over here in case of cinema hall, during breaks, before the start of the movie, after the end of the movie. Charges collected for advertising slides and shorts, we have to check with the register of slides and shorts, and agreement with the advertisers in this regard, whether during the movie or in the parking lot, the hoardings, the boards of the advertisers. Expenditure incurred on advertisements and promotional campaigns to ascertain that it should not have been capitalized. Income from restaurant and stalls, we know. Here the case is different. right? The restaurant could be run by cinema, or it could have been outsourced or leased out to outside agencies. That you have to check. Fixed assets, common assertions, rights and obligations, valuation, existence, agreement with the distributors. This is the most important point in the case of a cinema hall. Vouch payments on account of film hire with bills of distributors, and in the process, agreements concerned should be referred to. Examine unadjusted balance out of advance paid to the distributors against film. So there are distributors, there are producers who enter into agreement with the distributors who distribute the film to the cinema halls, right? We hire films from them, enter into an agreement, distributors are paid some fee, given some advance, and after we enter into a contract with them, right? The film has run, now it has been taken off, will adjust whatever advance we have paid to them on the basis of whatever fee is due to them on the successful run of the film. If advance is not adjusted, we should ask the cinema hall why the advance has not been adjusted till now, or why it is still lying unadjusted. Was there a dispute with the distributor, or it is a running current account? What is the case? So management should be asked to make a provision in respect of advances that are considered irrecoverable. So where you have entered into a dispute with the distributor, so there it could be that amount could not be recovered, so you have to make a provision or certify it as bad. So this is the most unique point about a cinema hall. Okay, guys, just tell me, should I go with the hospital? It is very simple, or should I switch to the last topic straight away? Hire and lease. Please tell me. In a hospital, checking the register of patients, collection of cash, legacies, grants and donations. We have discussed these terms. Subscriptions, income from investments, inventories of medicines, syringes and other medical items, taxation, authorization and sanction of various expenses, fixed assets, internal controls, all the parts covered in general with all other topics. Okay. So this is the last part. Hire purchase, you have done it in your accounts subject. Hire purchase agreement and lease. Hire purchase is an agreement where in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Right? So there are two parties involved. Vendor and hire purchaser or hirer. Right? So hirer means a person who obtains or has obtained possession of goods from the owner under a hire purchase agreement. Owner means the person who has let the goods on hire, delivered the profession. Further, it is a process where the end result is or could be the purchase or acquisition of property in those goods, like in the case of machinery, cars, vehicles, to the hire purchaser from the vendor. Rental agreements, and at the end of renting hire period, the property could move from vendor to the hirer as per their agreement. Now we all know the concept: initial sum of money payable, down payment, and further hire purchase installments. So what is a hire purchase agreement? Possession of goods delivered by the owner to the hirer, and the hirer would make periodical installments, pay in periodical installment. Property, title, property in goods, the title, good title, passes to the hirer on the payment of the last of such installments. Until that, it remains the property of the owner, and such person, the hirer, has a right to terminate the agreement at any time before the property so passes, whatever be the compensation for the breach of contract or whatever they have decided. The owner retains the asset and the hirer is free from paying the rent or installments. This is hire purchase agreement. What should the auditor check? Whether the hire purchase agreement is in written form and signed by all the parties. What is the hire purchase price in the hire purchase agreement? What is the cash price? What is the total price? What is the number of installment? The date on which agreement starts? Number and amount of installments? What is the down payment? Mode of determining the date upon which the installment will be payable? The goods, the underlying goods. And the installments are not irregular. They are being received regularly. That is what the auditor has to check in the case of a hire purchase. Now comes lease. What is the lease agreement? There is a party called as the lessee, acquires the right to use an asset for an agreed period of time in consideration of payment of rent to the other party called lessor. For example, in case of coal mines, diamond mines, the legal ownership of the asset remains with the lessor, but all risks and rewards of ownership are transferred to the lessee. For example, the lessee can extract coal or diamond and sell them. Risk and reward of the asset related to use of the asset, although the ownership is with the lessor, but risk and rewards are being consumed by the lessee. In other words, the lease in fact is a financing arrangement. So such leases are termed as financial lease. Operating lease, on the other hand, is a simple arrangement where in return for rent, the lessor allows the lessee to use the asset for a certain period. For example, some heavy machinery, we may take them on rent. That is an operating lease. I want royalties is a consideration in lease. Darshan. For example, I want 10 computers for a particular project in my office. I'll ask a vendor and I'll take them on operating lease. I'll give him the rent. After 10 days, I'll return the computers to the vendor. That is a simple arrangement. For a certain period, I have used the machinery. But I'll ask the vendor, okay, I'll give you rent as well. And at the end of 10 days, if I feel I can purchase these 10 computers, so we'll adjust the rentals paid to you and I'll pay you the remaining installments and I'll purchase these computers. That is finance lease. Right? Difference between finance and operating lease, you can refer for your study material. It is given in a comparative form over there. So what happens? The lessee will select the equipment. I'll go and select the computer. I'll satisfy myself with the functional fitness and specifications, whether they are of use to me or not. After choosing the equipment, I'll approach the lessor. It could be a third party. It could be the same vendor, either directly or through a lease broking agency. Lease agreement is negotiated and entered into. The manufacturer delivers the equipment at my site and I give him a notice of acceptance. I accept your equipment. I have checked it. It is complete in all aspects, defect free. A contract is signed out. During the lease payment, I'll pay the lease rentals. We'll keep the computers, the machinery, whatsoever in a good repair and working condition. And I'll also be entitled to the warranties and after sale services by the vendor. At the end of lease period, the equipment should be taken by the lessor, back by the lessor. However, the lessee may be given a renewal right. I want to get it renewed for 10 more days, or may be allowed to participate in purchase of the equipment. If the lessor wants to sell the equipment, machinery, computer, whatsoever it is, the purchase option shall be given to the lessee in the lease agreement itself. Lease agreement mein diya gaya hona chahiye. At the end of the lease, you will be given an option to purchase the underlying equipment. That's it. What would the auditor check? The object clause of the lease agreement of the leasing company, whether it is authorized to give such goods on lease, whether the leasing company has ascertained the credit analysis of lessee, whether he'll be able to make payments, what is his financing history, past credit record. Lease agreement should be checked about the description of lesser lessee, underlying asset, tenure and amount of lease, late charges, any initial security deposit, equipment shall be returned or an option of purchase would be given, whether the agreement prohibits the lessee from subletting, giving it on sublease. Usually it is a part of leasing agreement that you won't sublease some agreements. Examine the lease proposal, ensure that the invoice is retained safely as lease is a long-term contract, acceptance letter signed by the lessee and given to the lessor that the leased equipment has been accepted by the lessee. Board resolutions should be checked for the lease agreement. Copies of insurance policy of the underlying asset has been obtained by the lessor from the lessee for his records. That was about hire purchase and leases. So students, that finishes your chapter 13 and your subject of audit.
Now you have your special sessions on 15th, 17th and 20th. I'll share these notes by tomorrow relating to chapter 13 and the case study with answers we discussed today of cooperative societies. And I have one more case study in practice for you people relating to this particular chapter. So I'll share that case study as well. Along with the notes of this chapter, I'll be getting them uploaded by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Darshan, that means if a local authority works, if any of its functions goes beyond law, the auditor can qualify it. This is a language which belongs to the pre-British, pre-independence era, surcharged by the audit or the language of the Britishers and all. So it means the auditors, these kind of lapses or non-compliances are subject to qualification by the auditor. Dikshita, that depends upon case to case, but yes, over here in your syllabus, it says no purchase option shall be given to the lessee in the lease agreement itself. It should be decided at the end of the tenure. Okay, so we had a point raised by Himanshu in the last class. Let me check that. Himanshu, can you please tell me the page number again? Yes, Bhumika, bylaws for cooperative society are like the AOA of the company. Himanshu, are you there? Can you please tell me the page number again, which you quoted in the last session? Dikshita, you can forget that. Not relevant for you. I had to confirm that it is not relevant for you. So please erase that from your memory now. Not relevant for you people. I had to just confirm it. My pleasure, Darshan. Is Himanshu there? He had asked a certain doubt from me in the last session. I just want to know where that page number, some insurance kind of point was there. I suppose it was in LLP. Yes, Himanshu, coming to that point. I suppose, Himanshu, this is the point, if I'm not wrong. No mandatory insurance has been proposed in that. Am I at the right page? I think the pages are different. Just give me a sec. Can you see it on screen? What have I shared? Okay, I need to share it. Or let's, Himanshu, let's do one thing. I'll see it, whatever is there, whatever your doubt is, and I'll attach it to the notes. The last page of the notes, Himanshu, you can refer to that and would benefit others as well. I would attach it to the notes, right? Using that paragraph from the book, that mandatory insurance part, whatever is written over there. Okay. So thank you, everyone. And please make sure that you take the full benefit of the special sessions on 15th, 17th, and 20th. Right? Take care till then, and all the best for your preparations and your exams. Take good care of yourself. Good night. Bye bye.